Hi, Rod Fleming here. Sunny afternoon in France again. I hope your day is good. I've been thinking a lot about justice recently because it's a word that is cropping up rather a lot, and that kind of provoked me to think, well, what is justice? What's the history of justice? Where did it come from? I suppose we could look at justice and say, well, what's the simplest form of justice? And that would probably be what we might call vendetta justice. That is, you harm me, I'll harm you. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. You take something from me, I'll take something from you. You kill one of my sons, I'll kill one of your sons. And I guess in very simple societies that probably works quite well. Of course, there is a problem. Supposing I say, okay, you stole one of my sheep, and I'm going to steal two of your sheep because I don't like you very much. And then you say, well, screw you, I'm going to steal four of your sheep. And that's why we get vendettas, and why, for example, Sicily was plagued for, well, certainly centuries, by the vendettas, which would escalate and carry on for generations. Because of one slight somewhere along the line, somebody did something somebody else didn't like, and the whole thing just escalated, got out of hand, people started killing each other. Happens in Pakistan. Pakistan today is it's a failed state. You know, there is no proper law, and the only law that there is vendetta justice, and people, you know, you offend somebody, they'll go and shoot you. So that's not really a very clever way of doing justice, is it? No, I don't think so. Somewhere along the line, the idea of the state came along. And as far as we can see, this appeared first in a place called Mesopotamia. Still difficult to say after all these years. Which means land between two rivers, by the way. And it's actually the land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, largely in what is now Iraq. Part of the Fertile Crescent, one of the very early areas where civilization appeared. People started living in settlements, then towns, and then cities, actual big cities with organised social structures. And states, they had a state. And one of the functions of the state, in fact the primary function of the state, is the protection of the citizens. I mean, if your state isn't protecting you, then why pay taxes? It would be incredibly stupid. If your state can't protect you, and that means, you know, from external attack and also from internal injury, if you like, people in your culture doing bad things to you, then the state you have is not worth a toss, and you shouldn't pay for it, for goodness sake. So there is a requirement on the state that it looks after people, and that means that it has to do something about the vendetta justice. It has to say, well, no, you can't just go around killing each other because, you know, he stole your bloody sheep, and, you know, now you've shot his son, and oh my God, he's going to come back and he's going to take three of your sons and string them up from his tree, and, you know, the next thing we know, the whole bloody clan is going to be dead. So you can't have that. If you have a state and people living in a city, you can't have that. The state has to take responsibility for the administration of justice. The first time, and that's an idea of justice, is this idea of retribution, right? You do something bad to me, I will do something bad to you. But now the state is going to say, no, if you do something bad to him, the state will do something bad to you. The state will punish you, right? And that is, I think, what we would mostly consider to be the justice system. It's called the Justice Department for a reason, you know. It's not just a legal system, it's a justice system. The idea is that it should preserve people's rights and privileges and protect them from injury from others. Okay? So, where did this come about? Well, funnily enough, the first appearance that we know of a written down set of laws, a set of rules, you know, that actually said, well, no, look, these are the things you are not allowed to do, right? And if you do them, the state will come along and we're going to give you pelters for it. We're going to sort you out, right? And this was the first one that we actually have a copy of, is called the Code of Hammurabi. The reason we have a copy of this is he actually had this code carved into a stone, a basalt stone, big black basalt stone. He had it set up in the centre of his city, which was Akkad. It's also the Fertile Crescent in Mesopotamia. In the marketplace. So you could go and look and you could say, oh, shoot. And it covered everything from, killing other people to your sheep breaking into somebody's wheat field and what you would have to pay if you did this, you're careless in such and such a way and all the rest. It's actually quite a sophisticated code. I believe it contains around about 200 different laws, and it specifies the punishments for them. So it's all fair. Hammurabi's saying, look, there will be no preferential treatment. If you do this, that's what's going to happen. And really that is what we today in the West, and to be fair, in all of the world that I know of, maybe outside of the Amazon rainforest maybe, that's what people think of as justice. That there's a set of rules, okay? There's a set of rules, and if you transgress the rules, something bad will happen to you. And these rules are designed to protect other people from you doing something bad, and to protect you from other people doing something bad. And that is justice. But notice that it's all about retribution. It's all about you do something to him, something bad's going to happen to you, right? So it's not really like vengeance in the way that a vendetta-based system would be. Like, I'm going to go out and kill you because, you keyed my car. My God, I'm going to take a petrol bomb to yours. It's not like that. It's the police come along, they take a statement and they say, okay, fine, who did it? They find out who did it. They arrest and charge him. He gets a fine and he has to pay you reparations. Whatever, If it's more serious, it will be more serious. And the whole system, it becomes, as it evolves, very complex with a whole set of a hierarchy of severity and of punishment and of sanctions that will be applied to individuals if they do something wrong. So that's justice as we have come to know it. And it's predicated principally on the individual. There is such a thing as corporate law, but most law has its origins in the individual. It protects the individual. Corporate law is essentially to do with contracts and agreements between companies. If you go and smash up, I don't know, Shell UK's head office, something like that, then Shell UK will call the police, but the police will basically treat Shell UK as an individual, as a complainant. They won't be treated differently just because they're a company, and it was a company's offices that you smashed up rather than individuals' offices. The law is the same. You're not allowed to smash up offices. Okay? So this kind of law depends on the idea that we agree rules about what you can do and what you can't do, right? Principally what you can't do. And then we agree a set of punishments if you do it, right? And these are applicable to everyone. But note, right at the beginning of this is you have to do something wrong. Now, of recent years, a particularly unpleasant group of individuals have appeared called social justice warriors. And the thing I was thinking about looking at this, because I've been studying it in some depth recently, because they're becoming a problem and we're going to have to do something. Social justice warriors, what exactly do they mean when they say justice? Because they're not talking about people doing something wrong to someone else. I mean, they're not talking specifically about people lynching black people, for example. I mean, they would be against that, but that's not really what they're talking about. What they're talking about is something else, something vague. It's something that doesn't actually have a precise existence in legal terms. It's called oppression. And you go, oppression? Okay. That's the crime. Oppression becomes a crime. But there's no, I can guarantee you, that if you go in to look at the statute books of certainly any country that I can think of, and I'm sure it's the case everywhere, you will not find any laws about oppression. It'll go, no. Stealing, or underpaying, or welching on deals, or chicanery, connivery, and fraud. Yeah, okay. Hanging people, beating them up, burning them out of their houses. Yeah, that's covered by the laws. They're not allowed to do that. But oppression? No, can't think of that. Can't think of any law anywhere that talks about oppression. Okay? So I think that's an initial problem that we have to deal with, is what is that? So maybe the social justice warriors mean something else by justice. Maybe they're not talking about specific individual events. I mean, I know they talk about things like microaggressions, but it's just bullshit. You know? Maybe they're talking about specific things, a more general sort of idea of justice. And when you look at it that way, what you find out is that what social justice means to these people is equality. Now, we all think equality is a great thing, don't we? We all have systems and societies which are intended to ensure that everybody's equal. You all get a vote. Yeah, every single one of you. You get a vote. Once you get to be 18, you can vote. Doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. Doesn't matter if you're black or white, Chinese. You could be a green Martian. You've got a citizenship. You get to vote. There are other privileges that come with being citizens of a country. They vary, depends where you are. It could be free education, it could be free medicine, it could be a social security system, it could be a whole bunch of stuff, or it could be nothing at all, because these are privileges. Nobody has a right, by the way, nobody has a right that the state will support them if they're too lazy to get off their butts and work. They just don't. But some states will do that because that's what we've agreed, and fair enough, we've agreed it. But equality is a funny word, isn't it? You know what equality, that means everybody's equal. Am I equal to you? I'm 61, how old are you? Sure, we're not equal in age, right? Unless you happen to be 61 also. I'm 5'11", okay? What height are you? Are you 5'11"? Well, if you're not 5'11", then we're not equal, are we? I weigh round about 200 pounds, we'll be honest, 200 pounds. So, do you weigh 200 pounds? Well, if you don't weigh 200 pounds, we're not equal, are we? Obviously. So what do you mean by equality? What they mean by equality, and this is where it gets dangerous, is what is called equality of outcome. This is actually what social justice is. It's equality of outcome. So that everybody is the same in terms of the benefits that they get from living in a society. That's interesting. Now, I don't like to blow my own horn too hard, you know. But I've worked hard. I've not worked as hard as I could have. Some would argue I've not worked as hard as I should have. But I have worked pretty bloody hard. And I've earned my money and I've done my stuff. And, you know, I'm sitting in what is a very nice house, I have to say. Beautiful home, 16th century. Very large, very imposing. It's a gorgeous place. It's mine. You know, I worked for it. I made the money. I worked for it. It's my house. It's my home. I may sell it, but if I sell it, then the money that comes from it, that's mine. I can do what I like with it. Supposing you are someone who doesn't have any money. Right? And by the way, I was not given money. When I left school, I had nothing, you know. I didn't even have a university education. I went to university late. So, you know, I started with nothing. So don't give me the bullshit about silver spoons in the mouth, because, or white privilege, it's fucking shite. It doesn't happen. Supposing that I had said, no, I'm just going to stay on the dole. I'm not going to take any university courses. I'm not going to do that work, you know. It's too much like hard bloody work. I'm not going to go and work on the oil rigs. I'm not going to go and do this. I'm not going to go and work for newspapers and travel around all over the damn place, not see my kids, you know, working like hell and doing stuff, which was fun, by the way. Yeah, I'm just going to sit in my arse and watch TV. And then you come along to be, you know, 60 and my age, and you're living in some sort of caravan, you know, because you never worked, so you don't have any money. And you look at me and you say, why should he have that? Why should he have all that, and 2 cars and 3 motorbikes and, you know, 10 guitars and all the rest of it? Why should he have that? He should give it to me. I don't have that, so I should get it. That is what social justice warriors mean by justice. It means taking things from people who have worked for them and giving them to people who never did any work. Because that's what equality of outcome means. It means Doesn't matter how badly you performed at school, you'll still get a university place. And what kind of shite is that? It means, ultimately, it means putting people through universities, and it doesn't matter if they fail, they still get a degree. So that it's all equal. So we're all equal. You know? Equality of outcome. That is what is meant when people say social justice. Equality of outcome. It's not equality. We all believe in equality. Of course we do. We believe in equality of opportunity. We believe that, right, fine. If you don't have, you should not be limited in your ability to pursue fortune just because you're poor. There should be things there that will help you out. Okay, so maybe you have to take a loan to do your university degree. Well, that's just the way the world works. The point is, you're not barred from going to university. Nobody's going to come along and say, gosh, look at your postcode. Oh, God. Oh, I can't have you in the university. Oh, no, that's a poor area. Can't have you. You come from the Gorbals in Glasgow. Nah, not going to happen. That is not how it works. Equality of opportunity is something that all advanced, sophisticated, civilized Western democracies have enshrined at the heart of their national consciousness, and also their systems, their social systems. Everybody gets the opportunity. And that's partly because we base our society on Rome. We'll come back to Rome some other day, which was very much like that. You could rise through the ranks and become, many emperors of Rome were not nobles, right? They were commoners, but because they were extremely good at what they did, principally being soldiers, they rose to the highest ranks in the land, and that was possible. That was not a problem. They weren't prevented from doing these things because they did not have a patrician name, and nobody in the UK is prevented from doing anything because their name is Smith, for goodness sake. But that's not the same as equality of outcome. Equality of outcome is, as I said before, it's when it doesn't matter how hard you work, it's all going to get taken away from you and divided amongst the people who didn't do any work. And that is not justice. It might be social justice, but it's not actually justice. And we need to recognise that what social justice warriors are asking for, demanding, is totally unjust. And now, I know there are arguments. I've heard the bloody arguments. I've been watching them for months. Oh, gosh, we're black and you enslaved us. No, I bloody did not. I've never owned a slave in my life. No white person has owned a slave for the last 150 years, more now. There is no responsibility. There is no collective responsibility. The United Kingdom abolished slavery around about 1836. The United States fought a very bloody civil war to free the slaves, which ended in 1865, I do believe. White people in the United States died in their hundreds of thousands to free black people from slavery. Don't give me this bullshit that white people in the United States owe blacks anything. And the same is true in the United Kingdom. No, we don't. We freed you. We freed you nearly 200 bloody years ago. You've had 200 years to get off your arses, get some jobs and do some work. And the fact is, both countries are absolutely full of black people who've done exactly that and reached the highest levels of their chosen professions in academia, in the arts, in science. Neil deGrasse Tyson, gosh, how white is he? But he worked for it. It wasn't given to him on a plate because, equality of social outcome. He's a smart guy. He ate his dinners. He worked hard. He studied. He stayed up late at night. He worked 2 jobs, whatever, in order to get where he is now. And yet social justice would take away from that black man everything that he has ever earned. Because there's no real difference between social justice and communism. It's just, it sounds better. That's all it is. And the core of communism is, as we all know, from each according to his means and to each according to his needs. And what we also know is that in every single case, every single one, where communism has actually been applied, it has failed. Not only has it failed, massive cock-up economically, massive. You know, in the early 1990s, the only department store, supermarket, whatever, in the former Soviet Union was a thing called the GOM store. It was run by the government. It had nothing to sell. There's nothing in the shelves, nothing. You could go into GOM and there's nothing there, nothing to buy. That's how efficient, that's how organised, that's how good communism is. It ruins countries, destroys them. You think that the period of the Depression was bad in the United States and in Britain, and yes it was, and certainly across Europe. It was 100 times worse in Russia, in the Soviet Union. They actually had advertising posters up telling people not to eat their children because they were starving. That was communism. That was communism at work. And that's what social justice is. It's communism. It's the same thing. It's just wrapped up in shiny new paper to make it look different and feel better. Not only does it, not let people buy things because there is nothing to buy. Not only does it starve them. Not only does it make it completely pointless putting any effort into anything, because at the end of the day, it's all going to get taken away from you anyway. The only thing you can possibly really have in a communist system is, the thanks, the grateful thanks of the Communist Party. That's all you can ever have. All of that would be bad enough. That would be all enough for any sane person to say, you don't bring this here. But it also kills people. It kills people in vast, huge numbers. Estimates vary, but it is often quoted that Joseph Stalin, the great communist leader of the Soviet Union, was responsible for at least 100 million deaths. 100 million deaths. People killed because the communists didn't like them. And they didn't fit. So that's what happens under social justice, so-called social justice. Because if you disagree, if you say, no, wait a minute, this is my house, I'm going to keep it, they shoot you. It's that simple. They come in and they take it, they beat you up and they throw you out if you're lucky. Because the history is they just shoot you. That's what happened in Cambodia, Pol Pot. It happened in China. Millions, tens of millions, maybe over 100 million, again, murdered by the communists. And communists and social justice warriors are the same thing. It's the same thing. There is no difference. These people are all full to the eyes of the Communist Party manifesto. They actually believe this nonsense. And that is what they will do. That's what their idea of justice is. That everybody conforms to their set of rules, and if you disagree, as you can see in the United States today, if you disagree, you'll be beaten up. And the step beyond that is you'll be killed. And we can say this with absolute certainty, because we have seen it before. The entire 20th century was blighted with communism. And to see it becoming resurgent now in the 21st century must largely, I have to say, as a result of feminist and black activism. It's tragic, and we are going to have to stamp it out. We've fought long and hard to defeat the Soviet Union and put an end to the menace that it presented to freedom and liberty throughout the world. Please do not let the United States become the next evil empire, because you're already well on the way. You need to take these people and you need to re-educate them or throw them out.